Austria is finally doing something. I am Napoleon. I am Emperor. We're back with another Epic History TV reaction. If you have not seen my other reactions, check it out because I am reacting to the Napoleon campaign in chronological order. Let's get straight into the reaction.
An Epic History TV PMF Productions collaboration. In 1796, at the height of the French Revolutionary Wars, a young French general took charge of a ragged, demoralized army in northern Italy. It was his first command. Many expected him to fail. Instead, in just 1 month, he won his first brilliant campaign. With astonishing self-confidence, boldness and energy, he led his army to victory after victory, transforming the war in Europe, winning praise from a grateful republic, and forging a legend. This is the story of Napoleon Bonaparte's first campaign, and the dawn of a new age.
The bridge at Arcole. So the last time we left off where he said that this was Napoleon's first defeat in the next part. So I am extremely curious to see what happens here.
October 1796. 6 months have passed since General Napoleon Bonaparte took command of the French army of Italy. In that time, he's led a series of brilliant operations against the Austrians and won a string of battles. Now he appears close to final victory. He's driven Austrian field forces off the plains of northern Italy, back towards the Alps. While his troops have the great fortress city of Mantua, the key to Italy, under close siege. Mantua's oversized Austrian garrison is nearing starvation and riddled with disease.
Holy crap. 11,000 sick. Ooh. I'm surprised that they just did not have a freaking, like a complete, like, depopulation of Mantua. Ugh, that's very big.
Napoleon appeals to its commander, Field Marshal von Wurmser, to surrender. The brave should be facing danger, not swamp plague, he jibes. But Wurmser is a tough old veteran. He will not yield while any glimmer of hope remains. And he knows
this was the same guy who literally was shocked in the last 2 parts that I did, bro. I don't care what anyone tells me. This dude was so hyped up, bro. He was so hyped up. And what happened? He got completely destroyed by Napoleon so many times. And this, and yeah, Epic History is still hyping him up. Like, no, he's an embarrassment, okay? Granted, he's old, but still, he's an embarrassment at this point.
That to the north, Austria is gathering fresh troops to march to his aid. True, many are Grentz battalions, a type of Habsburg frontier militia, poorly drilled and short of officers. But they help raise the strength of the Austrian field army to 44,000.
Okay.
And they have a new general to lead them, Feldzeugmeister or Lieutenant General Józef Alvinci.
This was the guy in the last part where he said defeating Napoleon. Okay, let's see what he's made of.
The 61-year-old Hungarian was once military tutor to Emperor Francis himself, and is regarded as diligent, sharp, and brave. He and his staff draw up plans for a fresh offensive to rescue Wurmser and Mantua. Alvinci and Kostanovic will lead the main column, 26,000 strong, from Friuli to Bassano, then onwards to Mantua. Davidovic's corps, reinforced to 18,000, will retake Trento and push south through the Adige Valley. The two forces will link up at the earliest opportunity. Meanwhile, Wurmser, who can muster just 12,000 fit men from the Mantua garrison, will launch powerful sorties to pin down as many French units as possible.
Okay, that's a solid plan. Okay, that's very scary if you're on the French side.
Napoleon, by contrast, has received very few reinforcements from France. His weary divisions are suffering from shortages and sickness, and will be outnumbered on every front. Alvinzi begins his advance on the 22nd of October. The following day, the heavens open, drenching troops, swelling rivers, and reducing roads to mud. For the time being, Napoleon...
I like how he says the heavens open. But seriously though, like, dude, I don't think this is gonna go well for the French. The French are just too exhausted. I don't think this is going to go well for the French.
Is content to observe the enemy struggle forward in such conditions, knowing the effort will exhaust his infantry and disrupt supplies. On the 2nd of November, fighting breaks out north of Trento, where Napoleon has ordered Vaubois to attack. He wants to keep Davidovich bottled up, but Vaubois is heavily outnumbered, and his attack fails.
Hold up. How are these communications getting by so quickly? How are they doing this? Somebody explain that to me. How are they getting by so quickly? Wouldn't it take like a while, right? Like, and how does Napoleon even know like that the Austrians are coming through here with the 18,000 troops? How does he know that? Somebody explain that to me.
Vaubois begins pulling back to Caliano, while Massena gives up Bassano and withdraws towards Vicenza. But now Alvinzi's advance becomes strung out, slowed by the heavy rain and poor fitness of his recruits. And it is against Napoleon's nature to remain passive for so long. As the Austrians cross the Brenta, he orders Massena to attack General Liptay's division at Fontaniva, while Augereau attacks Hohenzollern at Bassano. The French launched dozens of separate assaults. But for all their poor march discipline, the Austrian recruits stand their ground and fight hard.
Okay, Austria. Finally, Austria is finally doing something. I mean, granted, in the last part, he talked about how the Austrians completely defeated the French army of the Rhine, but still, Austria, let's go!
With around 3,000 casualties on each side, the Second Battle of Bassano is the bloodiest day's fighting so far in the Italian campaign, and a failure for Napoleon. Hours later, he receives dire news from Vaubois. During heavy fighting at Caliano, some Croatian troops get behind the French line, triggering panic and a rout. Vaubois loses nearly half his division, killed. Wounded or missing, before he can regroup at Rivoli. The French are falling back on all fronts, and unless Napoleon can conjure something remarkable, he seems destined to suffer a major strategic defeat. This video is sponsored by...
I am broke. I'm sorry. If you wanna donate to me, but I'm broke. Alright, we got a quote here. Come on, Napoleon. Like, your men fought so hard, and they're probably extremely tired. Like, come on, Napoleon. Like, give them some break. I mean, well, they can't have a break because they're about to have a full-on collapse at this rate. So. And to be fair, it is the French faults too, because Napoleon didn't get any reinforcements. So it's not even Napoleon's fault.
Napoleon's position is perilous, but his enemy's cautious pursuit affords him some respite. 4 whole days pass while Alvinci and Davidovich coordinate their next moves. It's not a delay Napoleon would have tolerated if the shoe had been on the other foot. When the Austrians finally advance, it's bungled. Hohenzollern's vanguard approaches Verona to investigate reports of a French retreat. This isolated division is too tempting for Napoleon to ignore. He orders Augereau and Massena to attack.
Hey man, it's too tempting for me, and I'm not even Napoleon. I'm seeing this one division alone, and I'm just like, oh yes, take it, please take it. This is so tempting. Take it. Yes, he took it. Yes.
They inflict 400 casualties, but Hohenzollern escapes to a ridge near Caldiero. The next day, Napoleon orders renewed attacks.
Oh, he's zooming in. All right, he's zooming in. Everyone knows when Epic History TV zooms in, that's when it gets real.
But conditions are atrocious. The French struggle uphill into driving rain and hail, their boots slipping in the mud, under fire from Austrians dug in on the ridgetop. Around noon, Colonel Dupuy's 32nd Demi Brigade finally gets onto the ridge. It looks like the French may be able to lever the Austrians out of their position. But then, the Austrian army begins to arrive in force to support Hohenzollern's hard-pressed division. The French are in danger of being outflanked on both wings.
Yeah, this is not good, bro. This is not good.
They take up new defensive positions and hold the line until darkness, when Napoleon cuts his losses and orders a retreat to Verona. It has been an unequivocal French defeat. Napoleon's first in battle.
Oh, so this is his first defeat. Oh. Not too bad. Not too bad. It wasn't like a catastrophic defeat. Honestly, if the Austrians had played their cards much more better, they could have easily just wiped the floor. Completely just wiped Napoleon out of Italy. Like, I'm kind of surprised that they haven't done that.
Following day, he writes furiously to the Directory in Paris. He has no doubt that they are to blame for his defeat, for repeatedly failing to send reinforcements.
Yes! Yes, I literally said this before it. I can't even blame Napoleon. It's the Directory's fault. Come on. Like, I gotta give Napoleon some slack. If he actually had more reinforced soldiers, he probably would have been able to easily wipe the floor.
May be on the verge of losing Italy. None of the expected help has arrived. The army of Italy, reduced to a handful of men, is worn out. The heroes of Lodi, Millesimo, Castiglione and Bassano have died for their country or are in the hospitals. The men have nothing left but their reputation and their pride. We are abandoned in the depths of Italy. But despite his apparent despair, Napoleon has already devised a plan to strike back. A breathtakingly bold move that will spawn one of the greatest of Napoleonic legends.
Repeat that.
You gotta get on the move, son.
A priority. is protecting the men and women who serve this country.
Mobile games are going big.
With the Austrians converging on Verona, Napoleon decides to risk everything on a daring surprise attack. Leaving Macard.
You know when this music plays, that's when it gets real.
To cover Verona, he will circle south with the rest of the army, cross the Adige River and swing north, threatening to cut Alvinci's lines of communication and capture his artillery, baggage and supplies. Such losses will force Alvinci to abandon his advance. Marching overnight, Augereau and Massena arrive undetected at Ronco. Augereau's men cross the Adige on a pontoon bridge and...
Bro, this music, bro, I love this music. Bro, what is this music name, bro? Oh my goodness, I need to have this music in my playlist.
Begin moving north. But with marshland on all sides, they have to stick to the narrow, raised causeway, just 20 yards wide. And when they reach Arcole, where they must cross the bridge to continue north, they find it held by 2 Croatian battalions. Horribly exposed on the causeway and under heavy fire.
Oh no, that's not good.
The French troops take cover behind its reverse slope. Reinforcements are sent up, but they too are pinned down by the weight of fire from the far bank. Colonel Lannes had discharged himself from hospital that morning in order not to miss the battle. He now attempts to lead a charge, but is hit in the leg. The fiery Augereau refuses to accept defeat and orders another attack. But his men are exhausted and demoralized, with 3 generals wounded. The attack at Arcole has stalled. When Alvinci hears gunfire from the south, he assumes the French are making a feint to divert him from his own planned attack on Verona.
So he can hear this. Oh, wow. So they're actually like not far. Wow. How far are they? Huh. I thought they were like kind of like far. But wow, I didn't know you could hear that. Interesting.
But then comes alarming news that the French have crossed the Adige in force and are behind his left flank. He sends 2 brigades to attack the French bridgehead and diverts Mitrovsky to reinforce Arcole. Massena's division, moving northwest to protect the flank of the advance, runs straight into the Austrians at Bionde. At first, the Austrians have the better of it. But a disastrous friendly fire incident triggers panic, and Massena drives the Austrians back up the causeway.
Oh, come on. You probably just costed them the whole campaign.
Napoleon is increasingly concerned by the hold-up at Arcole.
Yeah, that's concerning me too.
They cannot break through. Alvinci will have ample time to redeploy and prevent any advance. He now orders General Gueux to take 2 regiments, cross the Adige at Albaredo, and lead them up the eastern bank of the Alpone River to hit Arcole from the south. He himself rides to the bridge to try to get the attack moving. He finds hundreds of French troops sheltering behind the causeway, unwilling to face the Austrian fire. General Augereau grabs a standard and begins to advance. This highly romanticized depiction was painted 2 years later. "Grenadiers," he cries, "come and seek your color." In reality, none had the courage to follow him.
You know, it goes to like show you, bro, like human emotion, human feeling, just human nature, bro. Like we're at the end of the day, bro, we're all human. Like bro, man, woman, child, adult, it doesn't matter what you are, bro. You're gonna have fear, bro. Like fear is just normal. Like as much as you try to hide it, bro, you're gonna have fear, bro.
Then, the commander of the army of Italy himself draws his saber, picks up a standard, and runs forward. There is withering fire all around. Several men fall wounded. His aide-de-camp, Colonel Murat, is killed. Another aide-de-camp, a Polish officer named Sulkowski, recalls, "The soldiers saw him, and none of them imitated him."
Oh no, yo, oh hell nah, bro, hell nah. How you gonna disrespect my boy like that, bro?
I was witness to this extraordinary cowardice, and I cannot conceive it. With the French infantry refusing to follow their officers, the assault on the bridge ends in abject failure. A well-timed Austrian counterattack drives them back down the causeway. In the rout, Napoleon's horse loses its footing. He tumbles into the swamp and has to be hauled out by his aides. That evening, General Gueux launches his attack on Arcole from the south. The defences are less formidable on this side, and his men fight their way into the village. Arcole, at last, has fallen.
Okay, he came in for the clutch. He came in and clutched up. That's what I'm talking about, man. Napoleon can't do everything, fam. Clutch. That's what I like to see.
But that night, Gueux's men are ordered to pull back. Napoleon is preparing to retreat. If, as he expects, Davidovich has continued his advance down the Adige Valley, Napoleon must withdraw now or face encirclement. His bold maneuver appears to have failed. Then, at 4 a.m., Napoleon receives a report from Rivoli that changes everything. Not only does Vaubois still hold the town, he hasn't even been attacked yet. Napoleon's line of retreat remains secure for at least a few days more. It's all the reassurance he needs. He immediately cancels his retreat and issues orders to attack.
He is cooking! He is cooking! Napoleon is always cooking.
Napoleon has lost the element of surprise, and Alvinzi is now planning his own counterattack. Overnight, his troops edge forward. Provera to Belfiore di Porcile, Mitrovsky back into Arcole. Both armies are on the move before dawn. Massena sends skirmishers into the marshland. When the Austrians arrive, bunched up on the causeway, they make easy targets. After a sharp fight in which an Austrian general is killed, Massena's men are driving the enemy before them. Augereau, however, cannot get close to Arcole. The causeway is still swept by Austrian musket fire and canister from across the Alponi. Napoleon orders troops to cross downstream at Albaredo. But the Austrians now have 2 battalions guarding the crossing point. French attempts to float or swim across the river come to naught. Day 2 of the battle ends in stalemate.
Oh, the French are really on the back end right now. Wow.
Many soldiers have to camp amid the marshes and get what food and rest they can. Napoleon will try once more to break through, but he is running out of time. Davidovich, who by now has received several urgent requests from Alvinci to advance, finally attacks on the 17th of November. Vaubois' outgunned division breaks. The Austrians take Rivoli and 1,000 prisoners, and
oh no, I see where this is going.
nearly capture Vaubois himself. With Davidovich on the move at last, Napoleon must force a decision at Arcole or retreat. The bridge at Arcole has proved too tough to crack.
Yeah, that bridge is like, come on, dude. This whole geography right here, this is just honestly kind of in a way formidable, especially this bridge at Arcole. I thought it was pronounced as Arcole, but this right here, yeah, suicide, literally suicide.
So Napoleon switches tactics. Augereau's division will cross the Alpone and attack Arcole from the south in force.
Again, this is like the 3rd time he has tried this.
A column is sent 10 miles south to cross at Legnago and then race back up the eastern bank to support him. Massena will advance up the causeway in support, while also protecting the left flank. That night, the French assemble a pontoon bridge over the Alpone. Augereau's division begins crossing before dawn. But at sunrise, Austrian gunners in Albaredo spot the bridge and score a hit, knocking it out of action.
Well, GG. GG. Yeah, bro, that is GG.
Only the 51st Demi Brigade is across, though it gamely begins to advance on Arcole. Massena's advance is also hamstrung by a broken pontoon bridge.
Oh my goodness, so they're cut off? Oh,
To add to the crisis, the Austrians launch an attack on the fragile French bridgehead. Napoleon gathers every available gun to blast the Austrians, who fall back under a withering barrage. The bridges are quickly repaired. But as the French advance, they encounter stubborn opposition on both sides of the Alpone.
You know what is crazy to me is the fact that Napoleon is outnumbered. He's outnumbered right here, and he's still doing this. He's literally still standing his ground. This is probably like the most impressive thing that I have seen in a long time.
A bloody seesaw battle surges back and forth along the causeways. Neither side can deploy its troops nor gain an advantage. Around 3 p.m, the French column from Legnago arrives, threatening to turn the Austrian flank. Just as Arcole seems about to fall, the Austrians launch a ferocious counterattack across the bridge. Brigadier General Robert is killed.
Oof.
His troops fall back in disarray. The panic is contagious. Augereau's men lose their nerve and fall back to the bridge. The moment of crisis has arrived. But while the enemy has just used his last reserves, Napoleon can call on Massena's unengaged troops, including the elite 32nd Demi-Brigade. Their sudden counterattack turns the tide. Massena's men sweep up the causeway, taking scores of prisoners, as Augereau's division resumes its advance.
Yeah, that was not smart. That was very much not smart. First of all, the terrain sucks. Look at his terrain. Okay, and they just like, no, they got too greedy. They could have easily turned a victory into something big, but they got too greedy. That happened. Oh my goodness, that was so dumb.
As they approach Arcole, Napoleon arranges a small ruse de guerre. 25 of his elite escort sweep in from the east, blowing bugles to feign a mass cavalry charge. In the evening light, it's enough to scare the remaining garrison into abandoning the village. As the French continue their advance, Alvinci orders his exhausted, demoralized army to retreat east, to Montebello, to protect its lines of communication. The three-day Battle of Arcole has been a messy, bloody affair, with no great tactical flourishes. Napoleon's margin of victory is narrow, and
very narrow. Oh my goodness, bro. What the hell? Oh, should I even call that? I mean, it's a French victory, yeah, I guess.
Third of his army are casualties. But he has done enough. For now.
I agree with this quote. You see this quote? I agree, because you see that attack that they did that ended up turning into a big defeat? That shouldn't even have happened. Imagine what would have happened, right? If they did not like attack. Imagine that could have turned into something completely different. Like, I still can't comprehend, like, why would they even attack? Like, where were they even going? Like, they had no purpose. Like, they had no objective. They could have easily routed them. Oh my gosh, dude, whatever. Maybe it's hindsight. I'm being a hindsight warrior. I don't know.
Alvinci may be withdrawing, but Davidovich remains a threat. The next day, Napoleon sets off at his customary pace with Massena's division to reinforce Vaubois. Augereau takes a different route to threaten the Austrians' line of retreat. The confusion that follows between Alvinci and Davidovich verges on farce. Alvinci writes to his corps commander, informing him that he will support him by resuming his advance. But Davidovich, having heard of the defeat at Arcole and now directly menaced by Napoleon, is already retreating.
He does not want that smoke. He does not want that smoke.
Receiving Alvinci's letter, however, he tries to turn his army around, leading to such chaos that he has to immediately countermand that order and resume his retreat. The end result is that both Austrian armies are soon withdrawing. And with exquisitely poor timing, gallant old Wurmser chooses this moment to launch his supporting attack from Mantua. He does at least secure some much-needed supplies, at a cost of 800 casualties.
Bruh, talk about horrible timing. Oh my goodness. That's funny, I'm sorry. Oh my goodness, bro. That is horrible timing.
It has been a bruising campaign for Napoleon. By some estimates, he has lost more men than the Austrians. He has suffered his first defeat in battle, and won a costly, messy victory at Arcole. But he has beaten the odds and thrown back the enemy. What's more, his heroic conduct at the bridge at Arcole will soon take on a life of its own. Artists and pamphleteers turn a slightly embellished version of events into a sensational piece of personal PR that captivates France. With Napoleon's active encouragement, the world is witnessing the birth of the Napoleonic legend. A powerful force that will inspire loyalty and devotion for many years to come. For now, both armies settle into winter quarters, as December brings bitter cold and heavy snow to northern Italy. In Mantua, the Austrian garrison is near its limit. Starvation beckons, though Wurmser is determined to hold out to the last. The Austrians will have one last chance to save the city.
Bro, imagine being an Austrian in the city right now. Oh my goodness, yo. Like 100... I know in the last one he said something like hundreds of Austrians were like dying per day. Bro, first of all, this city probably smells bad. It probably smells like corpse and rot. Like, imagine all the rats, the pests. Like, oh gosh, that's horrible to think about.
A final offensive to decide the outcome of the war in Italy.
This is the best one yet. This is the best one yet. Ooh. Definitely gotta check out the other one. Ooh. Thank y'all.